Oh, what's good, YouTube? In today's video, I will show you my project I was working on, or still am. This is Sunder Infernalist. Yes, you heard right. This is a maze build melee on Infernalist. I'm about to show you tier 17 map. We're using one-handed mace, which is Warpick, and a shield. The main focus here is to stack crit chance, crit damage, because Sunder itself already has 100% crit damage built in. And for the shield here, I'm running non-stop low life because of certain belts. And because of that, I have very high health regen, life regen. I'm about 1000 life regen without any buffs, just standing normally. And I use Zealous Oath, where it makes it transfers life regen into energy shield regen, and that right there is absolutely amazing. I didn't believe in life regen at all for melees, but I can tell you that for tanking wise or sustain, this is absolutely amazing. If you can combine it with Grim Feast, then that bad boy is insane. Now, I'm running Avatar of Fire. This is full fire setup, so I do use Cast on Ignite and Detonate Dead to, secure AoE. As you can see, the explosions are taking care of things. And I wish I could show Breach, though. I had no Breach here. It was just a boss, though, which I'll show in a second as well. So tier 17, I believe I was level 92 in this setup. But there is a problem, which you could just notice right there. I am over 100% at accuracy. Doesn't make sense, I know, but the cap at this level for accuracy is 1400. And it shows you 100% chance to hit in the stat sheet. And I have 1550, I believe, which is over, the cap. And sadly, there is a bug with this ability Sunder where it just sometimes does not register the hit. Straight up, there's a target in front of you. You obviously land the hit on him, but it just doesn't do anything. It just goes through. It doesn't register at all. So it's been a problem since release. I played Sunder as the first setup on my Titan. Some of you may remember that. So there's two things how this skill is nerfed. First thing being bugged because of the hit accuracy and whatnot. Just, doesn't happen. And then also second one is this ability does have total attack time of 1.4 seconds, which means you cannot scale it down below that number. And the attack speed scaling for skills like Sunder with total attack time is totally different than normal skills. Even if you go heavily and all in on attack speed, there's just no way to reduce it to 1.4 seconds. It's just impossible. I am one-handed now. I do miss attack speed on one-hander and gloves, but even with that, I could bring it down to like 1.72 seconds. Already tested it, it's pretty crazy. And that's also its soul core for attack speed in the weapon. And yes, it is just unlucky. Acceleration doesn't do much really, 10% skill speed. The Thrill Steel headpiece will be amazing, but we would lose Atsiri headpiece, which we convert life to energy shield, and it's just or extra, not convert, but extra. So we would lose a lot of like defensive layer. And as you can see, like my HP or shield does not move at all. Like it's insane. I think I will do that for every melee build, unless until the new leak, a new patch. But yeah, I want to show tier 17 boss here, the snake. I didn't get a full proc as it should be, because I normally just one-shot him in a stun with aftershocks from Sunder and Seismic Cry, which will not happen here. But yeah, for a single target, I use normally Blasphemy with temp chains for mobs normal mapping, because that makes them slower with attacks, which is amazing, especially Breach and Ritual with high density. But for a single target, I do get Flammability Curse, so it reduces the target's resistances, and I do have Exposure from Solar Orb. For Sunder, I do use for Sunder, I do use Aftershock Gem, because Aftershocks is where the big damage comes from when it comes to Sunder. And I'll show you, I believe it didn't crit. Right now, against this boss, without the gem, I have like 55% crit chance, I'll show you. But the main debuffs you want to look for is the reduced resistances from the curse, and then exposure, which is the same, so we have like double. And this is the icon from Eye of Winter. This is increasing your crit chance. So right now I have, I don't know, like 70% maybe, something like that. But we usually just stun it. All you can see one Sunder and we'll stun the whole boss, even though we are full fire damage, not physical. That's pretty insane. And now there is gonna be, I actually lost time here because there's gonna be aftershock proccing, which will stun it. So I kind of lost time there, but there you go. In this stun, you want to use Eye of Winter again, so this debuff doesn't, drop down. And you want to use Seismic Cry, which will exert your Sunder, which means it's gonna copy your Slam Sunder. So it's gonna use it once, but it procs twice. See, there is one Sunder, aftershock happening, the big damage happened as well. For some reason, when aftershock happens for Sunder, it hits 3 times. Normally, if you use Sunder, it hits once, right? But with aftershocks, it hit 3 times. So that's why we like aftershocks a lot. But Yeah, this was just a little tier 17 map boss. Also have Font of Rage Insular Orb, which is very amazing for damage. I could squeeze in probably the Berserk Aura for more rage damage increase, but I have no and not enough skill slots, so that's kind of rough to balance it and whatnot. But as you can see, like I'm using the ambush gem on Sunder, which makes it so I have more crit chance on enemies with full life by 100% multiplicative. So my crit chance is 100%. If there is a mob that doesn't die in one hit, that means the Sunder bugged out and it didn't hit. It seems like it creates many spikes and those spikes hit or don't hit. Like Sunder is weird. You either one-shot everything or it just doesn't hit at all. Like it's fun. It's kind of crazy. I hope this will be fixed. It's been a problem since release, as I mentioned. But I will have a full planner on Mobalytics in here. I'll throw the link in the description. And in this planner, there is also a code for Path of Building, which you can copy and throw in PoB. Speaking of PoB, we have it right here, which you can see the full, the gems, the jewels that I use, just the full description, full stats as well. Some of the stuff is not accurate, like the damage doesn't show what it shows in game. In game it shows 90,000. Here it's like 47k. But you would also have to go into config. You would have to proc low life. You would have to proc like ignite, burning, whatever we have with this build. Rage here as well. So that's up to you if you want to play with it, play around with it. I believe like penetration, stuff like that is not here even. Or I'm not sure how it really calculates in here, but to be fair, I don't have much penetration anyway with this setup. But I will take you into the game and we will talk about some of the good stuff, right? So first thing, skill gems. We got for Sunder rocking the concentrated effect for damage. We don't really care about AoE because for AoE we have cast and ignite with detonate. Now detonate you need lowest level, I believe it's level 7 or 8. I need to get it, I don't have one. So mana cost is not used at all. And we are looking at this percentage. 20% doesn't change if you have higher level of the gem, so that will be extra waste for mana. And this does a lot of damage for AoE. Cast on Ignite, we are full fire thanks to Avatar of Fire, so Ignite happens very often. Next up, we got Primal Armament. I tried to get all the multiplicative damage you can get from support gems. More means multiplicative, increased is additive, so more is better. Next up, we got Ambush for the crit chance. For single target, I do use Aftershock here, because this one stacks very well with these passive, 10% and 8. Obviously, we are not Titan, we don't have Falcon form, so this will be higher on Titan, but I will explain why Infernalist is absolutely amazing for this setup. Fire Infusion, obviously, we are fire, and then Martial Tempo for attack speed. Now, Sunder scales badly with attack speed, but with this being a multiplicative 25%, this is pretty good. Now I'm at 185. And without this bad boy, I would be at 196, which is pretty drastic. And again, normally this gem does transfer over to DPS, but now it doesn't for Sunder for some reason. This one here is just, I don't know, it's here for no reason. If you get over 50% crit chance, this gem is not that good. Right now on Sunder, I'm at 53% crit and almost 1000% crit damage, right? Let's talk about why Infernalist is good for this setup, okay? So Sunder has crit damage built in 100%. We want to focus on crit chance, right? With crit chance, we have many passives already here. Like a lot of the crit chance here, 35%, some extra, 15 and 15. With that, we get a lot of crit damage. Another one is crit chance in this bad boy. Big crit chance cluster is here. And also this cluster is very good for crit chance. Another one is Scarful Assassin, which I have anointed on my amulet. So I only put 2.0 for extra crit, which I could probably put here for more mana, but it's crit damage. And also this bad boy, this will be the best for crit chance, but this is pretty far. Honestly, I could maybe anoint this bad boy and put one passive point in this one, but that would probably be pretty good. But we'll see about that. But this other crit stuff that I had before, but I swapped out of that. Now, Infernalist. You can be low life if you reserve life here. And with that, with this belt, which can get corrupted over 75% life. So at 82% life, I'm counted as low life, which is non-stop, right? With this bad boy, we can get Pain Attunement, which is another multiplicative crit damage bonus by 30% when on low life. And there is also Ascendancy of 30%, another multi-crit damage from the Infernalist, which is really insane. On top of that, we get pretty good tankiness or sustain because of this conversion to fire damage and chaos. So stacking max fire res is pretty good. And then of course chaos damage capped out, so that's pretty nice as well. So with this build, we're focusing on stacking life because we get spirits. For spirit, you get a lot of auras, which I'll talk in a second. So this is why we are rocking full crit chance and crit damage setup on Infernalist. I'm a big fan. There's another great jewel that I use here to allocate passives around Bulwark, which is from nothing jewel. And this one has 40% another crit damage bonus while using one-handed weapon. So we get a lot of that, right? Another reason why low life is good, look at his shield. You get regeneration of life, you know, while on low life, as well as fire resistance by a lot. Over 3% if you get it corrupted. Like normally you can get over 3%, but also when on low life. So my health regen is 1000. 1000, and we transfer or convert this to energy shield through Zealot's Oath. So I have 1000 energy shield per second. That's like a potion. Having non-stop potion active, non-stop basically. I don't even use life flask. And you know what's the best thing about this setup? When we pick blood magic here, so all mana is converted to life cost for skills. My Sunder should cost almost 200 life, but my life doesn't move. My Sunder costs 5 life to cast. I don't know how is that possible. I thought it's taken from reserved life, but it's not, because as you can see, the gap here is almost 900. So yeah, that would basically, if it was from reserve, that would not cost nothing. So I believe this is a bugged interaction. I don't know how else to explain this, but my skills are free, doesn't cost anything. Non-stop regen for energy shield. This is very correct setup, I would say. We get a shield with some bad block chance, 25%, which is nothing too crazy, but it is what it is. I don't think it's worth to invest in block stuff. The only thing would be difficult is having the right setup with attributes, because I don't have enough intelligence to use highest level gems, so I'm using level 16, which is the highest I can get, of 151 int, as I have 153. So that's why we are running this bad boy. Next on the skill gems here, we got shield charge as a means of, you know, get around from pack to pack. I like to get stomping ground for some extra damage, which scales from your strength. We get some overpower for more stun build-up, close combat, and ingenuity. This is kind of like a test. Shield charge, I had leap before. Leap has an amazing passive or amazing support gem, which gives you a lot of a lot of life regen. It's the Holy Ground, which with that, I'm over 1300 life per second. That's not too bad, but this is just the testing. You can go with Leap. Cast on Ignite, we detonate that for AoE. We go with Impetus, so it procs more often. And then we go for AoE 40% and another 30% here. So that's a lot of ground cover. I don't have any passives in AoE. With this, you don't even need it, to be honest. For Sunder, you don't need AoE at all. But yeah, just need to hit one mob to proc detonate that. Because he will kill the mob and that will get ignited and that will proc detonate that. So the higher level of cast and ignite, the easier you will have to proc it because of energy gained. I did use level 9 before, or 12, and it was quite different. So I'm pretty sure, like this procs pretty often, I'm pretty sure you will be able to get even lower. Depends on your setup. But again, this costs no mana. As you could see on the Sunder, this just costs no mana. When I spam my skills, look at my HP, I'm spamming Seismic Cry. Okay, this one costs 12 life, right? But I'm spamming it. Normally it should be 78 life, but now it's 12. Like, that makes no sense. I don't know what's happening here. Next up, we got Eye of Winter, mainly for the crit weakness here. 10%. It stacks 20 times, so that's 10% crit chance on the target. I like to go with the deceleration. Less projectile speed means the more, you know, projectiles will hit it. And then Arcane Tempo. Probably not needed this, but Arcane Tempo for faster cast. I also use Unleash. That makes it so you will cast 2 Eye of Winters at the same time. Which means, or actually it's 3, I believe. Which means you will have the debuff stacked up in one cast. I didn't use this before and I had to cast it twice. Not worth. Seismic Cry. This is our copy of the Slam. Exert. If you had more like endurance charges, you could have even more. For endurance charges, there is a good passive here. Cranial Impact. If you stun a rare or unique enemy, you will get endurance charge, which means you can get more aftershocks on Sunder, which could be pretty good. How to get it? You could either anoint it, or you can get a From Nothing jewel to allocate passives around Unwavering Stance and click it. Premeditation for more damage, multiplicative, good stuff. Dazing Cry to apply Daze, which is 50% more stun build-up debuff on the target, very good stuff. I use that for opener, so your Sunder will always stun in one hit, most likely. Raging Cry to get rage before we start pumping. And Inspiration for less cost, not needed. Solar Orb, this bad boy, has double font, font of rage for damage, and font of blood. You can see my regen goes from 1000 to 1153. That's quite good. And the stack, you know, the rage stacks as well, which increases the damage here on Sunder by quite a lot. Decent amount. Goes up to 30 is the max. You can see with one cast of Solar, you can get almost 20 stacks of rage. Next up, Fire Exposure to reduce targets the resistances by 20%. But we get Strip Away through 30% increase effect, which is 26%. Same goes to Flammability from Blasphemy, which is our aura. Normally, I use Temp Chains because enemies are slowed, which means when you're, when you're in a big pack of mobs, you are less likely to get stunned or interrupted, basically. Ritualistic Curse here for AoE, 50%, and increased effect of curses. This one costs Spirit, so you gotta be careful with this. And Fire Mastery here is just for the flammability for extra rank when I use it on the targets, which is very good. Overwhelming Presence, amazing stuff. Reduces Elemental Ailment Threshold and Stun Threshold. Since we use both Stun and Ignite, Ignite is in this category of Elemental Ailments, then yeah. Increase Accuracy 30%, very important. Vitality, Regen again. This actually increases almost by 100, well it's like 70. And then Grim Feast to double your energy shield with Clarity for regen, not needed at all. I don't know why I have it, I could save it, but it's whatever. Nothing else to put there. Maybe Cannibalism. Cannibalism could be good, but I don't even notice it on, you could see it on the map clear. With this regen, it's not even needed, I feel like. So this was the gem setup. On to the passives here, on the Ascendancy, I already showed you, we get crit damage multiplicative here. Don't worry about the Ignite here. This doesn't really do anything, doesn't do much. It does lower your energy shield, but if you have Grim Feast, all good, right? Or this high regen, it basically cancels this out, no problem. Here we go with Altered Flesh to be tankier. And here we try to go like, so we go with Reserve Life, like I explained on the low life. I'll have the chapter in the description. So we stack life to get more spirit. And we have 2 more points here. I put them in max life here, but honestly, I'm kind of tempted to put it in Loyal Hellhound, which is 20% damage reduction, basically. 20% damage from hits is taken from Hellhound instead of you. So I'm not sure how tankier this guy would be, though, without any passives on the skill tree. I might try it out, though. I did play with Pyromantic Pact, which also cancels out mana. You don't need mana at all. Your skills are basically free. But once you reach the maximum Infernal Flame, you will take a big hit. And this was really bad for sustain. This really interfered with sustain. I thought my Blood Magic would, would be bad as well for sustain, but it's pretty good. 1 second. So the passives here, we are starting off from here. So this is very good for energy shield nodes. Pretty strong, pretty powerful. 30%, 15, 15. We got 28 and stun threshold, so that's very good. Then I went all the way here. Early on, it's pretty rough. Early on, when you start, I actually went this route. And I went down here to be able to get to this point as soon as possible. While leveling, I picked these points for big damage. Because early on, it's impossible to go crit or avatar. So I went all the way for damage. And then I respec later on at about like level 85, I think, or 80. I respec to get more crit here. And then also here, these nodes, they should be enough for crit. And it's pretty insane. So then we go right side, another energy shield 40%, reduce mana, we don't care. Crit chance again. All the way up top for the crit chance. This right here as well. I could probably go, well, this actually unlocks jewels, which are pretty important. I will talk about it in a second. Now here, another big cluster for crit chance. Here, attack speed, this is the only attack speed I have for my build. And on the right, on the left side here, I go all the way up top in here for the Pain Attunement, and then Zealot's Oath. Down here for Avatar of Fire. And then for Aftershocks with a jewel here. Now let's talk about the jewels. I know you're probably wondering what these circles are. So first one we got from nothing. Allocating passives around Bulwark. There are more jewels like that, which you can allocate around certain passives. So mainly for this one, I went for the health regen. This is really cracked. This regen is absolutely insane. One node here almost gave me 100 regen, which is wild. So big cluster here, and also crit damage here, why not? And to be totally immune from stunts, you could even go with hefty unit. Stunt threshold per strength is really insane. I'll get over 600, which is crazy. 666. Whoa. Next up, we got the Control Metamorph with a large ring. Shout out to Tureth. He told me about this jewel in this area because we can pick Titanic, which is really good. We can pick Overwhelming Strike, which is amazing for crit chance, crit damage, and stun build-up with crits. That's why you have such a high stun build-up. We get Impact Force for damage and stun build-up. You also get this bad boy, Vulgar Methods, doesn't matter because we are on the way anyway. And then you also get Prism Guard. This is the most valuable spot for a jewel I've ever seen for any build. Or like on the tree, almost. I know there's one for casters. On the rubies, you want to get with life regen. You can see 15% and my regen goes almost 100, which is wild, right? So melee damage is good. Physical damage is useless, we don't use physical. I believe that one doesn't convert with Avatar. But life regen, melee damage, pretty good. If you want, you can get Rage on hit, would be also very good. I would love to get it, but I don't have it. Next ruby I have is the same one here. Damage with maces, fire penetration, stun build up. Yeah, this jewel is wild. This jewel is really wild. On the one here, I go with +3 on Sunder, since my weapon does not have, I don't have any melee skills on the gear, so that's a lot of damage I'm missing actually on this build. Next jewel I have is Killer Instinct and Burning Nature. Another reason why low life is good is Killer Instinct is 50% damage when you're on low life. This is permanent damage increase, amazing. And I found this for one divine. This fills with Burning Nature, which gives you more damage, but also duration on Ignite. That's very good. On the next jewels that we have here is Against the Darkness here. I had this from my other character because my character had 3% fire or 2% fire damage. That was on my Wolf Thunder on the Falling Thunder Slam Titan. And I did corrupt it and it went to 4%. So max life and fire damage. You can even get like strength and fire damage, but I like the life thingy-majiggy. So I have only 3 notables here. So it's nothing too, well, it's actually pretty good. 12% damage fire, that's good. I could get even here with the recoup for another fire damage, but not enough points. Another jewel I have is the Sapphire here for the crit chance and crit damage and AoE increase. So I would like to get more Sapphires for crit chance. I think I don't have enough. I would like to get 60%. This goddamn scammer here, like bot, whatever. Jesus. And I believe that's it for jewels. I don't really have that many, I would say. Well, actually, it's not too bad. It ain't too bad. But these were the jewels on the gear. Warpick. Why we want Warpick? Warpick is 8% crit chance by base as a base weapon. It's like Water Staff. All the battle maces have 5%, which is very low. And it also has implicit of crit damage. So this weapon is goated. You want to look for elemental damage increase and fire damage flat. These are the most important for damage. Then I have a hybrid of physical and accuracy. Mainly go for the accuracy because for Sunder we need like 1400. I am over that, so that's pretty good. Next up, you want to get crit chance. I got very lucky with this one because this one is over 4%, which is ridiculous. And stun build-up, this is amazing. If this reduced attribute requirements was plus Sunder, we would be absolutely feasting. But I don't have that. At Peace, Disdain, Aziris, this one will, you know, convert the life to energy shield. Or extra, not convert, it's just extra, which is very good. I did find corruption with 2% life, very important. Together with this life regen is this chest piece, which also has the same. I'm missing quite a lot of regen here, which is quite a lot. 0.6% is a lot. So I did find one with corruption of the max resistance. And I tried to put max life everywhere I could on the gear. Almost, except boots. So yeah, on the chest piece, max life, resistances, regen is what I like to go for. On the boots, I like to go the same story, life, regen, resistances, and movement speed. Obviously, if I had more energy shield, the better. On the gloves, we got armor evasion rating, which is not good at all. We want energy shield if possible, but we got flat lightning and fire. Mainly flat fire is important on gloves and rings, very important. Energy story, strength, life. Strength is good too. Try to focus on strength everywhere you can. On the belt, like I showed you, you want to get this. So with this, we are non-stop at low life. On the rings, flat fire again, life, some attributes, and resistances. Breach rings will be the best because breach rings have 50% quality, unlike other rings with 20%. The other breach ring is actually almost the same. Resistances, strength, life, and fire/physical. And on the amulet here, we go with accuracy, energy shield increase, life. I got very lucky with this one. Crit chance is what we are looking for. And yeah, this is pretty good. Allocation, we got careful assassin for crit chance. And the shield I showed you, we got the life regen on low life. So that was for the gear. On the potion, by the way, you want to look for this one, more recovery if you're on low life, and then increase charges or reduce charges or per second, basically. That could also work. And I use the freeze charm. And for a single target, the rotation here, you want to go for Seismic Cry first to apply daze. You want to go with Solar Orb into Eye of Winter. Sunder, want to stun them. Then you drop again Eye of Winter. You go with Seismic Cry to exert your slam, and then Sunder, which will Aftershock. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, for single target, you want to go with Aftershock instead of Ambush, as this is useless against bosses. And you want to go for Flammability instead of like Temp Chains. So I'll try to get some footage from like Tier 4 Xesh. I don't have a key for him, sadly. Those keys got pretty expensive, but yeah. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. My next project will be Earth Shatter only, either Titan or Warbringer. And to be fair, I could even play Earth Shatter on this bad boy. I could replace Sunder with Earth Shatter and go hard too. But we shall see how that's gonna look like. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate you all. Let me know what you think about it. Just, hit me up in the comment section. And if you guys want, I have quite a few weapons, war picks, because I did test so many of these. So if you guys want, I can hook you up. Maybe even with some jewels. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much once again. I stream every day on Twitch and YouTube. Links will be in the description. But until then, you guys have a good one. And take it easy. Peace.